Psychic Mist Paranormal Network.
Hi, this is Cher with Psychic Mist, and I have something really cool for you today.
So Brielle and I decided to make a giant Ouija board and use dowsing rods to make communication with the spirits in my home. And here's a picture of the board.
After I did the Ouija board session, I did a PE-ITC and EVP session to try to get validation and further communication. I got some pretty spectacular stuff, so stay tuned to the end of the video because I have some fun surprises there. Okay, so this is the Ouija board that we made. Just trying to get it all in here so you can see it. There's the yes, the no, all the letters and the numbers and the goodbye, and the planchette's feet. This is my live living planchette, my daughter Brielle, and she's going to walk around on this board spelling things out with the help of, I don't know if you can see these too good, the dowsing rods that we have here. When we get stuck on a letter, we have our trusty pendulum to help us. Sorry, I know we're going to be making you dizzy. All right, so what I'm going to do is call in a few spirits and we'll get started. All right, so Brielle is holding the dowsing rods. And I just asked the spirits that live in this house and the spirits that are from my haunted mirrors to work with us in asking our questions tonight. What we're going to ask the spirits to do now, whoever wants to step up and work with Brielle. Brielle, I surround you with the white light of the Holy Spirit, green healing light, and purple spiritual light. And I ask Archangel Michael to join us and keep us safe from any and all negative energies and entities. The entities are working with us. When Brielle goes over a letter, tell her to stop either by crossing the dowsing rods.
Like this, like so.
Right. Or by opening them straight out. Like that. Now, I'm asking, what do you prefer? Show us now. Crossing or opening straight out? Do that now. Crossing. Okay. So that's how we know to stop. If we're not sure of what letter or number it's on, then we're going to fine-tune it by using the pendulum. Okay, Brielle, I guess, yeah, you can start by standing in the middle of the board by the T. And I know we're just going to be like getting half of you here because we're just your feet. I want to see the dowsing rods too if we can. All right, so is there somebody here with us? Guide Brielle to move by changing the direction of the dowsing rods. Is there somebody here with us? Can you go to yes if you are here with us? Bro, walk around the board for a minute. See if we could pick up some energy. There you go. And then just follow whatever direction they take you. The rods are crossed, so I'm saying yes, they're here with us. So it's going to take a little bit of time for them to answer, apparently. All right, Bill, go back to the T, and I'm going to put on a sensor. This is my triboelectric sensor. If the spirits are here, they can also make that go off. All right, so I guess it's going to take them a little bit of time to answer. So how about a name? Can you give us your name? Spell it out letter by letter. All right, you crossed over. Do you know what letter that is?
It's the L.
All right, well, let's say L. Is it, put them back out straight again. Can you tell us if it is the L? Can you cross it if it's the L is the letter that begins your first name? Okay, so that was definitely. Okay, so now what is the second letter of your name? Whenever she gets to the letter of your second name, cross the rods. Looks like you're getting close to something. The second letter of your name, cross the rods. Yeah, it looks like it's this way. It's hard because we don't have a lot of room in here for me to get good angles. We have a cross, LC or D, and the letters are around you. All right, let's ask. Make it go out straight. Okay, are you pointing to the C? Cross the rod if you are. How about the B? Okay, so it's B. LB. That sounds more like initials. All right.
No, I mean, that's hard.
Let's do a pendulum to ask. So yes is forward and backwards, so swing it that way. There you go. And no is side to side. Okay. And if it goes in circles, we'll take that as we don't know.
Is L and B your initials? Yes.
Yeah, give it another second. I see. Ask someone if they could swing it harder.
Can you swing it harder? Swing harder.
Yeah, looks pretty good. So I can get in there a little more. Definitely a yes. Okay. So LB. Well, let's go back to the rods and ask another question. LB, can you tell us how old you are? Oh, our board's a little crinkly here. Let's fix it up. That's good. LB, how old are you?
Six. Is six your age or number of your age?
If so, cross the rods.
Yes.
Okay. Uncross the rods. LB, is there more numbers in that? In your age? Cross if so.
Cross.
All right. LB, what's the second number in your age? Lead Brielle by pointing the rods. Cross the rods. There we go.
Is three the second number? Cross the rods if it is.
Looks like it's a 3.
Say 63.
Asked if there's another number. If it's a real ancient spirit, it could be older.
Is there another number in your age?
Looks like it's. Well, let's ask again then.
Is there a third number in your age?
Is that a yes?
Is there a third number in your age? Pull the rods out if it's a no.
All right, so I guess we're 63. So I just wanted to make a note here about the age response of the dowsing rods when it said 63, and we asked if that was correct and if they had a third number. And as you could see, the dowsing rods kind of didn't want to answer. The response eventually seemed like it was no, there was no number. But I just wanted to make a note of that, and I'll tell you why at the end of the video. Next question, LB. Are you a man? Can you go to yes or spell yes if you're a man? So we're trying to find out if LB is a man. Is it crossing over no?
Yeah.
It is crossing over no. Okay, then LB.
The guy's name will start with L's.
Brielle's got good intuition. All right, then let's ask the obvious then.
Are you a girl?
Maybe it's not a man or a woman. You never know what kind of spirit we might have. LB, are you a woman? Maybe they'll prefer to spell something. Lead Brielle with the rods. Show her which way to go. Seems like they want you to go this way. They're pointing this way. So you're not a woman either? Make the rods go out straight to the sides if we're correct in saying that you're not a woman either. Hmm. Well, they're not all the way out to the side. That one's going. Are you turning? They want you to turn? All right, then tell us more about what you are. If you're not a man, not a woman, what kind of spirit are you? That's the question we're asking now. Is that a G? Make the rods go straight out if it's a G. No, I want them to go out. I think for like confirmations, they should go out and for where to stop, they should cross in. I think that would make it easier. So we have a G then. Okay, is there another letter? Take her to the next letter. Do you know what kind of spirit you are? If you're not a man or a woman, what kind of spirit are you?
Is that an R?
Is that where it's crossing?
Yeah.
So she's at the R, and we asked for confirmation. If that's an R, make them go out to the side. No? Yes? Oh, there we go. Guess it takes them a minute. All right, so we have GR. What the heck can be GR? There must be another letter. Take her to the next letter, because I don't know what GR is.
Growl. Resistant.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of spirit starts with a GR, do you? Well, let's try and see what they have to say. I thought they were going to spell ghost for a minute, but it's tough to be.
Gargoyle.
Gargoyle? Well, that would have been a GAR. Well, let's see what they have to say. What's the next letter?
Is that an X?
GRX. Is that what we're supposed to stop at? X? Is that correct? Please
Or
confirm.
is that what I'm stepping on?
Well, let's do one at a time. Is it an X? Make them go out if it's an X. It is an X. GRX. I don't know what language you're talking.
Clearly not English.
It's clearly not anything. What's a GRX? Unless all they can do is talk in initials because they don't want, like,
Are these all initials?
spell things out. But I mean, that doesn't help us any.
Put the rods out if these are all initials. The not then cross.
Apparently they're not. Here's a question. Are you human? Are you a human spirit?
No.
No, you're not a human spirit. You're a GRX, huh? All right. What's that?
There's more to it.
Yeah, but that doesn't spell anything. GRX, there's got to be a vowel in there somewhere. All right, so if you're not a human spirit, what kind of spirit are you? I don't want to ask yes, no questions, if I can help it. I know it's hard to do this. It might be hard to spell things out, but it's the only way we can really communicate with you with this, so if you wouldn't mind. I'm wondering. I can't help but wonder if it's one of two things. Well, the sarcastic guy, that would make three. I have that sarcastic guy from the mirror. And then there's always the D words. And then there's the J word. I'm wondering if it's one of them. So Brielle and I were just discussing that there was a possibility of three different entities that we were suspecting at this point. The first one we said was the sarcastic guy, and that's an entity that actually came with one of my haunted mirrors, but he's a human, so he's ruled out. The second one were the D words. Well, they're always demons. They seem to like to pop into my experiments a lot of times. The last one, the J word, that would be Josh from my Mass Face Beings experiments. Josh pops in everywhere all the time, and he's really not human, more like humanoid. Okay, so back to trying to figure out what kind of entity we are working with here. So let me know who you are. We haven't really gotten a chance to ask questions other than to try to establish who we're communicating with. You're a D. Is it an E?
Or out of the A.
Let me ask this. Are you trying to say a D? Move out if it's a D. Spread them out. Spread them out if it's an E. Okay, why don't you put them down? Let's do a pendulum.
Is it the D? Yes or no?
Give it a minute because it's spinning. I can't really tell which way that's going. Looks like it's diagonal.
In circles.
It's going in circles.
Is it a D? Is it yes? Is it no?
Is it D? Circle still?
I don't think it makes in circles and no.
And try the E. Same directions for yes and no.
Then A.
That looks like a no.
Is it F?
You could ask. Looked like it was a D so far.
Oh, it's definitely not a D.
Could have been the D then.
Is it F if you want me to stop it?
That's a no.
Was it a D?
Is it a D, did you say?
Yeah.
And it's doing yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's getting stronger.
We don't know anything about this spirit except for it's 63, which I'm wondering if that's real. All right, so we established that the first letter is a D. Can you tell us what the second letter is to tell us what kind of spirit you are? It's really close. Looks like it's almost ready to cross. It is crossing.
Okay, is it this time an E?
Spread out if it's an E. Shall she keep going? Spread out if she should keep going, because it's not an E.
Or if it is an E, cross, please.
Cross it if it's an E. Spread it out if it's not an E. Walk again then. What's the next letter? Just hold it like this. Now you're going to be sideways, but you can see more.
K. Right up it's a K. Wide out.
The K doesn't make any sense either. They're a deck. Take another step.
Crosswise double N.
Alright. That's the famous question.
Is it an N? Spread out. Blah 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 blah.
D-E-N? What's a den? Is there another letter? Looks like they want you to turn. Across. So what do you think? K or L? Is it a K? Open it if it's a K.
Not a K?
Is it an L? Open the rods if it's an L. No? Is it an M? Open the rods if it's an M. Open it wider if it's an M. So what was that? D-E-K-M? Deckham? What the heck?
Sounds like you're saying deck them.
It does. Well, it doesn't make any
We
sense.
hit an N actually.
We hit an N, yeah, but it didn't confirm. Well, but still, we got a D,
We didn't
E.
confirm for the K last time either.
So what did we get a confirmation on?
D, E. I'm not sure if we got a confirmation on the N, but we did get an M, so.
Alright, is there another letter? We'll see where it goes from here. If there's another letter, please show us what that is. Looks like it's going to cross, but then it doesn't.
Is there any more you want to say?
Is there any more letters? If there's more letters, then cross the rods, please. If there's no more letters, then spread them open. So really, we got a D, an E, maybe a K.
What's the third letter of K? Cross them up with a K. If it wasn't an N, that was the third letter. Was the word you're trying to spell den? Spread them out.
Well, what's a den?
Oh, and then only found in caves.
So it's some kind of a cave dwelling spirit?
Is it in like a lair?
Do we have an animal spirit? Are you an animal spirit? Cross it if it's yes. Huh.
Well, there are animals out in the world that can change their gender, so they could be either. They could be neither.
So you, all right, make them go straight again. So here's another question. Are you a 63-year-old animal spirit? Hmm. And what was the initials that we got? LB. LB, do you live in this house? So I would take that as a yes. LB, here's a question. Are you one of my Shiki? Okay, I think we're on to something. What do you got, a yes? Okay. Now let's figure out which one you are. What lives in a cave?
Dragons, gargoyles, maybe.
They spelled den, right?
Both of those can be considered dens. Is den considered like also another term for lair as well? When you say den, do you mean lair?
They did say G when they first started. Can we have a letter to spell out a G if you're a gargoyle, and a D if you're a dragon, or N if you're none of them? G if you're a gargoyle, D if you're a dragon, or N if you're none of them. It's crossing at the D. All right, then how about this one? Are you Galieb? That would make sense. It's a G, and that's what it started out with, right?
Yeah.
Are you Galieb? Go back to the G for a yes, or the yes for a yes, or N for no. Yes. How do you like that?
He was toying with us at first.
Galieb. Galieb is my Shiki. He's a dragon.
Lab.
Leb.
LB.
LB. Galieb. I guess that's how he was trying to spell it. That makes sense. GLB. Wow. Okay, how do you like that, guys? We just made communication with my dragon, and people, I know that a lot of them think they're mythical, but out in the spiritual realms, they're very alive and well. I practice several ancient lost arts that I utilize certain creatures for that I work with in the astral planes. So that's what I'm calling my Shiki. That is awesome. Galieb, can you give us a message? I know it's hard to do all this spelling, but maybe we could figure it out like we just did now. We won't work it too hard. But if we could get a message, any kind of message, what do you want me to know? Is it crossing there? Is that a Z? Has to be a Z. Okay, the Z is the first letter. Is there another letter? Can you show us what else that is? Is it crossed? ZP. Okay, is there another letter? Try to get back here. Oh, they're bringing you around. ZP. The heck?
Is it L? Oh, there's an L.
So it's an L. ZPL.
Well, we already established we like turtles.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm sure it probably can't really spell too well. So we have to try to figure out what ZPL is.
Or stands for.
ZPL. Is there another letter? Maybe it's just trying to go by what it sounds like. Is there another letter? Cross the rods if there's another letter, and we should keep going. Candle went out already. They're spreading out. All right, so there's no more letters. Is that correct? If we're correct, can you cross the rods if you're done? ZPL. All right, what the heck does ZPL stand for? Have any ideas? You're the dragon lady. Okay, so he spelled out ZPL. That was in response to the question that I asked a message for me. So ZPL, he spelled Galieb of GLB, so we had to try to figure that out. So now we have ZPL. So Z
It also sounds like S.
could also sound like S instead of Z. A lot of times that can be mistaken, right? So SPL, spell.
Could be magic.
Could be magic, yes. And dragons, there is draconian magic, and there's other kinds of magic that utilize dragons. And I mean, I do things with my dragon, so that's good. So I guess he wants me to continue working with him. Maybe that's what he's trying to say. Because it's been a little while, hasn't it, Galieb? Galieb, can you either go to yes or cross the rods if we're correct that the message you're trying to say to me is that you want me to work with you more? Is that correct? Cross the rods or go to yes? Or open the rods and go to no? Yes. I'm sorry, Galieb. I know we haven't worked in a while, so we will. I have one more question, and then we'll complete this session. Galieb, and I don't mean this disrespectful in any way. I just want to know so that I can make sure I take care of it and make sure that you're happy. Do you and Yilty, which is my gargoyle, do you get along, or are you kind of at odds? If you get along, go to G. If you don't get along too good, just say no. Go to no if you don't get along, or go to G if you do get along. I always thought that they were jealous of each other. That bothers me because I want to make sure it's fine. You just get along okay? All right, well, that makes me feel better. All right. Galieb, thank you so much for talking to me. Just
I didn't know if that was actually magic. It was trying to go for it.
all right, well, we can ask that too.
So if it was to cross it or something. If it was the word spell that you're spelling, were you referring to magic? If it was, then cross over M. If it wasn't, then cross over no.
They're pointing in that direction.
Probably should have said no in the end.
I know they're so close. We're not going to be. So far, they're not doing anything. I mean, if it's no, I don't know what else it'll be. Walk around. If it's magic that you're referring to, go to yes. If it's not, go to no. That's a big one, so it's a lot more space. Maybe between the M and the no, it's really small. So hard for them to tell, maybe. Right away it crossed it, yes. Okay. Galieb, do you love me? Go to yes if you do and no if you don't.
I'm definitely over yes, so.
All right. Galieb, thank you, and I will work with you more. Brielle, thank you for being my living, walking human planchette. And this concludes the first experiment with my giant Ouija board. Sorry, I can't get it all in one shot. I'm going to try with a different camera so you can see it, but... Oh, Brielle, we have to end the session properly. You have to say goodbye. So just walk back and forth on the goodbye a few times. Say goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
And thank you.
And
Yeah.
thank you.
3 goodbyes. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Galieb is actually one of my shiki. He is 6,333 years old, and that is probably why the rods didn't want to move off of the number 3. So now I'm going to share some EVPs and some ITC pictures with you that I think that you'll find quite amazing. Whenever I get an ITC picture that has a number in it, I always ask if that number has a specific meaning. Sometimes they're very meaningful and pertain to the experiment. So I asked what this meant, and I got an EVP, so here that is.
How about the number 506? So the EVP says that 506 is in the Gospel. So I decided to look it up, and this is what I found. It says that the word is originally anupatactos. I think I'm saying that right. And that it means not made subject to or cannot be subjected to control, disobedient, unruly, rebellious. So that kind of describes a dragon's demeanor. Do you remember my dog Roxy? Have you seen Roxy around this house? So this is a pretty awesome EVP as it validates that Galieb has indeed seen my dog Roxy in the house, and he's letting me know this. In the top 2 pictures is a picture of my dog Roxy. It's an ITC picture. The first picture on the left is the original, and the one on the right is the outline. And below that is her name, Roxy. It is an ITC picture as well. On the left is the original, and on the right is the outline. The thing that I want to let you know here is that my dog passed away a couple months ago, and she has been passed away since the time of the Ouija board experiments. So it was kind of nice that that was brought up. It was nice to know that Galieb has interacted with Roxy, and I've seen that before a few times in the house. So here are the letters GLB taken from an ITC session. As you've seen in the Ouija board session, Galieb was spelling his name GLB. The weird thing here is that this series of letters didn't come out in the session I did with Galieb. It came out with a session I did with my dog Roxy, who is now deceased, which I said. So this validates even more that Roxy has also saw Galieb in the house as well. And it's fascinating because Roxy used GLB just like Galieb did in the Ouija board session. So another word that came out in Galieb's ITC is the word ditsu. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but according to the translation in Italian, Sardinian Italian dictionary, it means piano, and that has pretty good significance and relevance because I play the piano, and the piano is located right next to the Ouija board that we were working with. So you could see that in the Ouija board session. One of my shiki is a fairy, and dragons get along with the nature world really good. So this is yet another validation. So here is the initial G for Galieb, obviously, but it was one of the first letters he went to on the Ouija board. And this provides even more validation in reference to the Ouija board portion of the experiment. So here is the word girl, G-I-R-L-E, spelled with the E on the end. So this is an archaic spelling, meaning that it is very old or old-fashioned way to spell this name. Since Galieb is an ancient spirit, this archaic way of spelling this word would be something he would be more accustomed to. Here are the words me, did. I believe this is a way that Galiev was making a confirmation that he did make communication with me. Instead of saying Galiev did, he's saying me did. So we replaced his name with a pronoun. I got other words that said pain and sad. Why? So here are the ITC words that came out. The top one is pain. The bottom one is sad. I believe that Galiev is saying that he needs to be a part of what I'm doing. He needs to be within. So he needs to be within what I'm doing. That was the message that he gave us at the end of the Ouija board session. Here's an ITC picture of the word Tiag, T-I-A-G. It is a Hmong language that comes from the southern part of China and Thailand. There's a couple other places, but I wanted to point those two out. And this word means really. It also has a root in the word reality. So I believe Galiev was trying to say that he really did make communication with us, that this was reality, and this is the way that he also validated the experiment once more. It's an ancient language and one that would once again be more his style. Here's an ITC picture of the word sai, S-A-I, which is now considered a Japanese weapon. Before it reached Japan, it came from China and Thailand. It is interesting to note that both Tiag, a Hmong word originating from China and Thailand, and the weapon sai, also coming from China and Thailand, were presented to us in the same ITC session, another validation and more than likely a reference of Galiev's past experiences. So the next ITC picture that I want to bring your attention to is the word tuat, T-U-A-T, not twat, tuat. Twat is one syllable noun and vulgar slang. Tuat is two syllables, and let us explore this now. Tuat is a natural region of desert in central Algeria. Tuat was the name of the ancient Egyptian underworld, which was filled with pools of fire. Each night, the sun god Ra passed through the 12 divisions of Tuat, assisted by Mihen and a number of deities who protected him until he rises in the east in the morning. So the next question is, who is Mihen? Mihen is the dragon serpent god and considered an important guardian deity and protector of the sun god Ra. Each night Ra would travel through the underworld known as Tuat on a boat that was protected by Mihen and several other deities. I think that Galiev is trying to tell me that he may be one of these guardian deities, and here are a couple of EVPs that might lead to that belief.
On the dark side.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. I want to know if you have worked for or have been with demons. Were you the guardian deity, protector of Ra? With these two EVPs, the response, any demons, seems to confirm the underworld, and when I asked if Galiev was the guardian deity, the response not true, meaning he was not Mihen, but then confirmed with his name Galiev, leading me to believe that he was one of the other protectors working along with Mihen. He brought it up for a reason. This ITC slide says tulip, and I really think this was just Galiev's way to validate that he is indeed Galiev, my dragon. The tulip, flying dragon on the bottom left, and the dragon flower on the right support this image. Galiev, would you like to help me with draconian magic? The two ITC pictures came out right after I asked Galiev if he would like to help me with draconian magic. Apparently, he utilized the word yay to show his excitement, and the word you to indicate that he wanted to help me. If you recall, the message he had for me during the Ouija board session was that he wanted to work with me more often. So here we have two more ITC pictures. The top one says dragon, the bottom one is Galiev. And as you can see, dragon is spelled without the O. I mean, it's kind of just fits the same way that Galiev spelled on the Ouija board. So here's more validation, and even his name, that's pretty awesome. Wow. The last 3 ITC pictures all hold significant meaning. Here they are now. This is the word music. Music plays a big part in my life, and I play the piano as well. So this image validates him, Galieb, being in my life, as well as a support validation to the earlier ITC picture, Ditsu, or piano in another language. This is the word magic. At the end of the Ouija board session, Galieb spelled out SPL, or his way of spelling the word spell, pertaining to magic. This ITC picture confirms that Brielle and I were correct in interpreting his meaning. This is the word sign, a final and relevant verification that all of these ITC and EVP captures do indeed pertain to the experiment and were deciphered precisely.
Here are just a few more EVPs that we received.
So Galia, the night when me and Brielle did the Ouija board, moved the dowsing rods. Was that you that made contact with me?
So in this next EVP, I asked if Galia would like to do another Ouija board dowsing rod session. And in the middle of my question, another entity just broke through and asked if it was a pain to do, I guess. And then at the end, Galia answered, no, it wasn't a pain. So I guess that I didn't really get an answer directly, but if it wasn't a pain, then I guess he wouldn't mind doing another one. And with all the results that we got with this one, it was a huge success. So I can't imagine why he wouldn't want to do another one. I'm looking forward to it.
Galia, would you like me to do another Ouija board dowsing rod experiment to talk with you again?
And finally, I have just one more thing for you, the piece de resistance, or Kavpav Thoj in Hmong, or a Didlatan Drariatan in Egyptian, or actually Arabic. I have a PE-ITC picture of Galieb himself. It really is awesome that he made an appearance, and he really did go out of his way to work with us during this experiment. It really is quite amazing. Thank you so much, Galieb. It's extremely interesting how the communication with Galieb turned out, that how he spelled things a lot of times without vowels. I mean, we're asking a spirit to spell, especially an animal spirit, to spell things out for us. But in spirit form, I mean, any entity can communicate with different types of entities in their languages or telepathically. I also thought it was pretty interesting how he tried to give me validation by talking about ancient things and spelling words like girl with the E, which is a more ancient way to do that, and telling me about the places in China and Thailand with the old language of Hmong. Just all those different things were validations of the kind of being that he is. We wanted to make contact with a spirit in the house, and we certainly got a spirit in the house, but we really weren't expecting to get an animal spirit, let alone a shiki. So that's really cool, and it's really rare too. And I liked how Galieb reached out to me to let me know that he enjoys working with me. And I'm so happy that you joined us too. This is Shar with Psychic Mist. Have a wonderful night.